rainy day project. I got my tack room, I guess, up front of the trailer. I've got the it's a long trailer. It's got a slant room up front here, which I actually really like. It lets me store everything I need for the logging in my trailer. So I can just haul everything and do everything on the site. Kind of helps me keep my truck nicer and cleaner, and lets me kind of just have extras of everything with me. So this is it. It's not real big, but it has everything I need. It works very well. I guess, what do we got? So you come in, I've got my bar oils, my little gas cans. I've got my neck yokes for the log carts. Got a bag of feed. I carry a couple bags of feed with me, so I can feed the horses. I've got feed bags. We really like our feed bags. I can put whatever feed I want in that, throw it over the cart, haul it into the woods, and then middle of the day I can just pop it on the horse. They don't spill it, they don't drop it, they don't fight over it. So we really like feed bags. I think you can get them on Amazon or something, but they're large draft feed bags. So we really like the feed bags. They help us in the woods. We also use them on the farm for feeding pregnant mares. Feed bags. I've got bridles, some with blinders, some without blinders, extra set of lines, another set of team lines, set of single lines, more bridles, more lines, more reins. Just kind of, the driving stuff up here. On the ground there, I've got extra eveners. So that's this one here is my ground skidding evener. So it's got the teardrop on it, hooked to the clevis onto the double tree for team. So I can just slide the chain through here. And then it locks in here. So when you're ground skidding, this is my evener for that. This is my extra evener for double team hitch on my log cart when I go from 3 to 2. Extra log chain. And then I've got here, these are my harness holders. I've got 2 of them side by side. They're just burned wood with supports. And I can haul 8 harnesses here. I used to have 8 here, but my original 2 harnesses I bought were old leather. I took them to my harness guy to fix them a little while after I bought them, and I told him who I bought them from. He's like, I made those harnesses like 15 years ago for those guys. So they were old when I got them. So last year was real wet and muddy and nasty, and I just kept breaking crap on them. So I pretty much retired them last year. I was tired of fixing them, and they were heavy and they just needed to. So I don't use them anymore, basically. So now I've got 5 on here right now. My friend's borrowing one set. So I've got 5 harnesses on these 2. So I can just throw them in here and then take them out and harness the horses. Then I've got my collars up here. Same concept, it's just on a little piece of wood. Then I've got a chain up here because when you're bouncing down the road, they fall off. So my collars, my harnesses, 6 of each. I've got extra collars back there for different horses. I've got my wedge pouch, got my saws, I've got 2 PVs, got my axe and my skip hammer, got my big can of fuel, which I need to refill today. I've got a single evener here for single horse skidding, more skip hammers. I've got lights. I've got inside, outside, and inside the trailer lights. All LEDs. I guess you can't really see that, but switch for that. And then up here on the gooseneck, extra bars, road flares, extra chains. You can never have enough extra chains. Some horse grooming stuff, extra log tape, extra wedges, extra lead ropes, extra horse ties from the trailer. And then back here I've got extra straps for my harness. So if I break a I think these are the ones that go back from the D-ring back to the breeching. So if I break one of those, sometimes I've had those break. So I've got extra ones of those. WD-40 and PB Blaster so that I can, you know, if I need to lube anything up on the carts, some marking paint. I've got my climbing gaffs here in case they come on a walnut or something that I need to trim a branch, or, you know, if there was for some reason I needed to get up a tree. I've got my gaffs here and my climbing harness. Got some straps for hooking around trees if I need to brace something or whatever. Got some straps. Paper towels, socket set just in case I need to fix something. I got my fuel mix for mixing with my chainsaw fuel. I always mix mine around 38 or 40 to 1, probably 38 to 1. They recommend 50 to 1, but I don't. I think that's just a EPA joke. So I always mix mine much oilier. So we do 38 to 1 on my fuel. Never had a problem with it, or my sauce. Got a broken extra cover here just in case I break something. It's not the best one. It's been patched a couple of times, but it's better than a completely broken one just in case. An extra teardrop for ground skidding. Got extra clevises and chains and hooks for the harnesses. Extra log grab parts in here. Road triangles for out on the road if I break down. My battery for the lights. Some more strapping, more collar pads, some buckets. I've got a vest just in case I need it out on the road. More extra wedges, first aid kit, harness stuff, horse first aid stuff, some ribbon, extra earmuffs just in case, first aid kit for me, extra gloves, extra pull cord, saw wrenches, my log tapes, markers, hoof picks, hoof knife, extra saw stuff. Yeah, lots of extra everything in here. But it's important to have what I need, because if you're an hour away from home and you break something, you kind of want to keep working. So I pretty much have at least 2 of everything here, so that if something breaks, I can fix it or get another one at the job. Yeah, so this is my little work trailer, part of the logging operation. It works very well. I think it's 4 feet by 2 feet up there or something, so it's just a slant tack room. But it works well for me and what we do. Yeah. Rainy day chores continue. It is warmish, so we are cleaning out the horse trailer of manure, shoveling it out, chucking it in the skid loader pot. Then we'll take it back and throw it into the manure pile so we can spread it out on our fields as fertilizer. But yeah, this is the logging trailer. It's got a ramp. I really like the ramp. I use it. I can load my own arches without equipment, and I can do it by myself. It's not easy. And if there's someone there, it's much easier with 2 people. But I can roll the carts in, and it works pretty well. So it's, let me see, 6, 12. It's probably a 22-foot deck in here. So I can fit, I've got 6. I can fit 6 of the working horses in here easily. I have fit 7, maybe 8 when I cram them if I'm pushing something hard, but I can fit 6 in here easy. It's got these dividers up front. I had them out for the first few years. Didn't think much of it. But then when I started taking 2 stallions to the job site, they were friskier. They, I find one stud, I've worked one stud a lot. I find one stud really isn't that hard. You can just chuck them in there with the trailer, with the mares, tie them up good. You don't have much issues, but once you start adding a second stud into the mix, things can get dicey pretty quick. So I used to tie one up front and then one in the back, so they're far enough apart that they don't really cause any trouble, which worked. But then I realized it had the dividers. The trailer came with them when I bought it. So I put them back in up front here, and actually I've left them because I kind of like it. I can lock the 2 studs up front, or if I'm hauling a cart to work, I can lock 2 horses up front, shut the gates, and then I still have room that I can roll a log cart in. I can actually roll 2 log carts. I've got 2. I can actually put both log carts in, bump them up against the divider here, and I can have them in here without them getting, the horses tripping over them or them rolling onto the horses. So I can haul both log carts and 2 horses to the job site at the same time to start the job if I want to, and then the next day bring more horses and have both carts there. So I've actually kind of like having those dividers up there. It just works pretty well for how I do it. But yeah. The ramp, I love the ramp. Like I say, it's amazing, but in the winter, it is also a problem. Snow, so ramps, pick up, and if you get manure here and it freezes hard, when you pick the ramp up, it crushes against that and it won't shut. So it can be a pain in the butt in the winter as well. But I still prefer it because it lets me be able to get my carts to and from the jobs by myself. So this here, I just kind of flip that over it, and it keeps the manure off. Now that's probably, I need to redo it. I was going to do it this summer, but life happened and I just did not. This is probably 8 years old, so it's all ripped and broken and it doesn't really work anymore. But the last 3 years we haven't really had any winter to speak of, so I hadn't worried about it too much because if it's not frozen, you just brush it away and it's not a big deal. So I just, it was on the back burner to, it doesn't matter, we don't need it, we don't get cold winters anymore. But now that we've had a month straight of freezing weather, I'm like, I wish I would have fixed. So next summer, I'm gonna rip that plastic rubber off. And just put new rubber roofing down there so that I can keep it cleaner, so it's easier for me to shut the gate when I'm done. All right, well, I gotta keep shoveling manure. Hey guys, we're back. Another rainy day project for loggers is saw maintenance and saw work. I'm here with Brandon Riddle with Riddle Built Saws. We've been running his saws on our tree service crews in the summer. We've probably got maybe 8 or so saws.
I'm gonna say,
7.
I believe.
The top handles in the
I'm gonna say
a lot. We've got a lot. We've been running them a lot this summer. So he's actually, I just dropped off one of my 500s to have him port it for me. So I just thought I would show you guys what we're doing here and let you chat with him a little bit about what does it mean to port a saw and why should someone maybe want to do that and maybe some of the pros and whatnot. So Brandon, here we go.
Yeah, here's the Hans 500i, but yeah, some of the benefits to porting a saw, you get a lot of quicker cut times in the cut, which it'll then allow you to get, if you're into logging, you're getting, more trees cut in a day. That means you're making more money in a day. And if you're into Hans, line of work, well, with tree service and same with logging, the more trees you cut in a day, the more money you can make in a day. And
well, and when you're cutting a big tree, the quicker you can cut through it on the back side, the less pull you're going to have. I mean, you can bore them out too, but there are situations where you're trying to drop a tree and needing to eat wood really quick. is going to be the difference in getting it to fall where you want it and how you want it to fall. So that's a part of it too.
Yeah, like
is your speed of cut. Yes, it's quicker to get it on the ground, but it's also not going to bog down. You're not going to get as fatigued pushing that saw through the big oaks if the saw cuts quicker. So it kind of benefits your longevity through the day, not feeling as fatigued as well, running a quicker saw. And if you're running a smaller saw that is ported, you have a lighter saw. So you could have a ported saw that's smaller, but giving you the power of a little bit bigger saw, but a lighter saw, so that you could, cut things a little quicker and easier and not be as fatigued without running a big saw.
Yeah. For instance, what he's talking about is, you can turn up a 59cc saw and make them run just as good as a 71cc saw, that's stock. So therefore you're saving on your back, and you got a lot more power and bang for your buck, weight to horsepower ratio. So, but back to what he was saying, like when he's talking about cutting at the end, a lot of timber cutters, when the trees are going at your last second, once the tree's, aiming in the way you want to go, you want to zip your, your last corner of your hinge wood off, so that allows the tree to roll so it doesn't snag on stuff and bust other, timber up.
So what is if I say I'm gonna go get my saw ported, what does that mean?
Usually what that should mean is a lot of the times people tighten your squish bands up. Sometimes people will dome pistons, make pop-up pistons, or you can order pop-up pistons. You can tighten compression a ton with them, but a lot of the times is it's into the port timing, and you do some intake work, and you do some exhaust. You open up your exhaust, and depending on the builder, some builders believe in a mirror finish, and some builders believe in a more rougher finish on your exhaust. It's all depending on the builder, and I mean every porter or builder has their own ways and theories of doing such, and they kind of have their own taste and spice on everything. But it's definitely it's the way to go if you're into production and making money, or even if you cut firewood and you want to sell firewood. A lot of people run your smaller 55cc homeowner saws, but they could spend a couple dollars more and buy a 50cc Pro Husky and be lighter weight and stock. They cut faster, and if you poured it, you're going to cut even faster yet. So.
And how long have you been screwing around with saws?
Oh, I've been messing around with building. I started building my own saws back in 19 for myself. And then just more recently, the past, year or two, I've been, building some for, friends of mine, and it's just been taking off. So now we're going to keep building them, I guess. Might as well.
He's going to get started on a real shop here. This is stage one, is starting to do commercially for other people, and now he's going to build up his shop here and start offering a full service shop for selling parts and saws and oils and all sorts of stuff and repair. So we're kind of getting in on the ground here. But if you're in Western PA and you want your saw ported or messed with, Riddle built saws here in Mercer Grove City area is I think very reliable and stands behind his work really well. And if you wanted to ship your crap to him, he could port them and ship them back to you. So yes, I guess you have a card. I'll show a picture of a card with some information on it here. And if you want your saws worked on, I say we got it right here. There's some information. I'll put it in the tag at the bottom of the video too. But yeah, so another rainy day project here is work on some saw stuff. So now we're gonna head back out, and I actually just came from a 22-acre job I was looking at for a guy locally here, so I walked some timber today too. So there's lots of things to do on rainy days when you can't go cut. So it's a rain day today, as you can see. Foggy, rainy, icy, so we're not in the woods. So it's time to do farm chores. And one of them is we've got a feed pad here that we built a couple years ago, I guess last year. scraping it, getting the manure off, putting it in a pile so we can spread it out in the pastures. It's been a game changer on our farm for loss of hay. We were going through, I think, a bale more a feeding cycle of 4 days basically, a big round bale. So it saved a lot of hay because we're not trampling into the mud. So for us, it's been worth it already, probably in just a year and a half of using it. How we ended up doing it, we poured cement. It's just durable. You can scrape it off real easy with the skid loader. As you can see, we put big grooves in it to give them traction. But people are like, oh, we don't want them standing on the hard concrete, but they pretty much poop all over it. So it's only hard concrete for a short amount of time before they're standing on softer manure that we scrape off again. But we find it's just very durable and it's cost effective because it's never going to go bad, so we can use it forever. But basically how we did it, I guess I should show you from this end. I'm trying to think of my dimensions. I think I did 8 foot between my bunks. I got old well casing and core drilled it through my concrete and pounded these in, and then I welded it on top as a brace, and then I used U-bolts, and these are locust boards so that I can scrape it off on the inside and I countersunk them in there. So I think this is 8 foot wide. We wanted it to be narrow enough that they could reach it from both sides and still get to the middle. It's pretty tight with our bigger tractor. It does still fit, but our little tractor and our skid loader fit in real easy, so we can load it with a 3-point spear on the back of our 50 horse or our skid loader really easily. If it's real cold or we're going away, I can cram, I don't know, probably 8 bales in here. We tend to feed 4 to 5 bales at a time. That lasts about 4 or 5 days. That way, if it's out in the rain like this, the hay doesn't get too wet because they eat it within 4 days. So it just kind of depends on the weather, how many bales we put out to feed. But then on this side up here, I've got this side open so that I can just drive up, come around the barn, drive down the path, and I can just throw the bales in without having to open and shut gates, so the horses aren't going to get out. Makes it so fast. Last night when I got back, because I was working late because it was going to rain, it was after dark, we had dinner, and then Ellen and I came out and we just jumped on the tractor, threw 4 bales out real fast. No horses got out. It was just so simple. And then this fall here we put up some no climb fence, some tencel on top, and we added these 2 gates. So now it's a little more secure in the winter paddock. They tend to want to push fences harder when they're stuck in a dry lot per se, especially in the fall and the spring when they're not used to it. So they push those fences a lot. So now they're kind of locked in. But yeah, this is our, it's like I said, so the opening's 8 foot. You could do 8'3" or something. It might give you a little more room for your tractor if you got a bigger tractor. And then I think I did 12 foot on each side as cement so that we have traction, and the horses have something hard I can scrape off of. And then I did another 8 feet of gravel on the outside of that. Another to give it a little more scrape area. We're going to see how the gravel holds up to see if we should maybe try some no climb to it. Alright, little man's stuck in the skid loader. I gotta get going. Well, we got one side clean. As you can see now, it's a little easier to see now that all the manure's off. Works pretty well. We're really big fans. Like I said, I think this is 12 feet. And then I ended up putting another 8 or 9 feet of gravel sloped away. because last year it was still super, we didn't freeze last year, so it was really muddy still, and the edge got so muddy that I couldn't get the skid loader on very easily. So this summer I dug it out, I put fabric down, I put large stone and small stone, so now I've got a buffer the whole way around the cement that I can still drive the skid loader on. It's going to be hard base, so that even whenever it's slimy out, I can still get the skid loader on and off the edge of the cement. But this is the clean side, and now we'll go clean the other side. And it's been longer than I normally go between cleanings. We've had about a month or more frozen ground, so I've been logging Saturdays and weekends, and I just haven't had time to do it, and it's been so frozen. I got behind that I tried to clean it off 2 weeks ago or something, and I could only get about half of it because it was just so frozen that I couldn't dig through it. So it's a little messier than I would normally leave it. I try to do it about once a week, but we'll get it cleaned back up and hopefully keep on top of it next time maybe. Although I won't complain, this cold weather has been amazing for us in the woods. We've got more trees out this month than I've done in years in a month. So what do you think, little guy?